James Harden, you are a Philadelphia 76er.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Man, oh man. Man. What an impressive performance. What a debut for the new era of basketball that is Joel Embiid and James Harden here in Philadelphia. The game just got done a few hours ago. Shout out to everybody who came through and hung out for the game with me. We captured all of our, moments and reactions live. It was great. I just had to do this before we take it down for the night while it's still fresh. I mean, it was surreal, man. It was surreal. This year, I feel like this Sixers team, obviously, we have the favorite for MVP in Joel Embiid, but it feels like all these other parts, right? All these other roles kind of just do their own thing. It feels like they're just out there, just stranded, right? And then tonight, James Harden, he kind of reminded me of like a circuit board. He connects everything. He puts everything together. So many things were just seamless. So many things connected more, and they just came together. And, obviously I've been saying that it's going to take a few games for this to really mesh, but in game one to look as good as it did, it was just absolutely insane, man. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Again, appreciate everybody who is rocking with me, man. Where do we start? The Sixers get a massive W in the first game of the era, 133-102. Sixers go into Minnesota. They go and they dominate this T-Wolves team, who is not the best team, but they are not the worst. And we'll be honest, the T-Wolves were missing a lot of open shots. They shot, I think, 23% from deep. I mean, it was not a good game at all for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But the Sixers came in, they handled business even when it felt like a guy like Joel Embiid had a cold first half. The Sixers came and they just dominated, and they kept on applying pressure, and everybody stepped up. It was great. Here are some photos. Here's an image from Joel Embiid and James Harden after the game, literally like an hour ago. These guys are already putting in the work to get better. They're improving. I just watched James Harden's press conference with Joel Embiid sitting at the podium. And yeah, man, it was, again, you just hear everything that you want to hear from a guy like James Harden. This is Joel's team. I'm here to contribute. We want to do everything we can to win a championship. I'm here to make lives easier, make jobs easier. I'm willing to fit in. Just those types of things that you love hearing from a leadership standpoint. And then they're right back again at it in the gym. Joel Embiid took to Instagram to talk about the special night. Here's a picture, one of my favorites from the night. Joel says, "Can't believe this is my life." I can't believe it either. I still can't believe, and it hit me during the game once I saw that step back three, the first one from James Harden. He had 3 of them tonight. 2 of them were and ones. It started to hit me like, holy crap, like this is actually a reality. It's absolutely insane. A couple more crazy things. James Harden is actually the only guy ever to have 25 points and 12 or more assists in each or in a debut with a team. He had it with the Rockets, the Nets, and the Sixers. He's done it 3 times. Nobody else has ever done it once. He's done it in every debut over the last 3 teams he's been with. Absolutely insane. And how about this? The Sixers had 30 assists as a team tonight, improving to 5-0 this season when handing out at least 30 assists. The team has won 18 straight with 30-plus assists, dating back to January of 2020. And also the Sixers had a season-high 19 three-pointers made tonight. It was also one of them nights where everybody was clicking, right? Everybody was on. But at the end of the day, there were reasons for that. There were reasons that this team looked better. And, we have to start with no other than James Harden again. Like, he helped connect everybody. And while people are going to point to the scoring aspect and, how great of a lethal scorer he is, first and foremost, I think we can look and say he's in shape. He's not washed. He looks really, really good. And as I've said on many occasions, he's going to be motivated. He looked hungry. He wanted it. And this is just how he looked last year when he went to Brooklyn. James Harden with a massive debut, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists. Unbelievable, man. 7 for 12 from the field, 5 for 7 from deep, 8 for 9 from the free throw line. I love the way he's able to contort his body, get these foul calls. Look, the media already hates us. Now you have to play James Harden and Joel Embiid. It's going to be something scary. He was a plus 35. And honestly, the most impressive point about Harden tonight was not even his scoring for me. It was the facilitating. Again, he's scanning the entire floor. He's seeing this guy over here, no look pass to the other corner, the skip passes, behind the back, bounce passes. He literally set everybody up, and he brought in every dimension, every aspect, what we have needed all season. We need a guy to facilitate. We need a guy to help push the pace. The Sixers look 5 times faster tonight than I've seen them all year. You know, we got Maxey on the break, Thibault on the break. We had, 30-plus points or 25, I think, on the fast break tonight. It was unreal, man, and everybody was pushing the pace. And quite frankly, it looked like James Harden had been running this team all season long. That's how crazy the chemistry was. And I thought it was going to take at least 5 to 10 games to really kick in and sink. And look, we might have some tough games. We might struggle, but this was a great start tonight. Harden was finding everybody. He was feeding Embiid in the post. And then again, you have those theatrics with Harden, right? The step back threes. His first bucket as a Sixer. How about a tight contested layup and one? He had 3 of his signature step backs. 2 of them were and ones. The last one was over Karl Anthony Towns. And it's just amazing how James Harden, as a 6'5 guard, is not only able to score the ball, but he gets 8 rebounds a game, had 8 tonight. He averages 10 assists a game. He had 12 tonight. And honestly, there were about 5 more that were wide open looks where he really probably could have had 17, 18 assists. I mean, it was an unbelievable game. He made everything connect and click. He's the guy to run our offense. And he just made everybody else look better. As we've said, guys are going to be in better positions. In fact, James Harden was so good, we'll look at a guy like Tyrese Maxey, right? Tyrese Maxey had a beautiful night tonight. 28 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals on the defensive end. That was another thing. Even though the Sixers kind of laid back a little bit later on in the game, Tyrese Maxey and the rest of these cats were hounds on defense, man. They were locked in. They were ready to go. The intensity, right? The energy of the situation. Sixers tend to play up in games like this, and they were excited. And, the defense was great. But Tyrese Maxey, 28 points, 12 for 16 from the field, and he looked so much more comfortable playing off the ball. We've tried to give him that main facilitator role duty this year. He's handled it well, being a young kid, being a second-year, 21-year-old player. But, having a guy like James Harden just makes it so much easier. I saw Tyrese cutting, to the basket, catching it off the slash, the dribble drive, pull-up midi. Everything looks so comforting to Tyrese Maxey. And we've said all along, maybe having a traditional point guard will help Tyrese Maxey out. And honestly, it made him look so much better tonight. He was just attacking. He looked so confident, comfortable. Every word in the book to describe it, man. Maxey was great. And honestly, maybe he has solidified himself as the third option because Tobias Harris had a struggle tonight, 2 for 9 from the field. But did you really notice it? Not much. And Tobias did play good defense, and it just seemed like everybody was in the right positions, in the right situations, and Harden was getting it to them on a beam, man. These passes just cutting right through the defense, man. It was beautiful. Like, every guy was where they needed to be, and it's only a matter of time before guys like Tobias and Danny Green realize, like, all I have to do now is just catch up, in the corner and to just spot up and shoot, man. Or Tobias, the little middies, not holding on to the ball too long, right? Danny, Niang's of the world, Danny Green, George Niang, even Matisse Thybulle had, 11 points tonight? Like, he was finding ways to get creative, get to the basket. Those types of guys just need to be spot-up shooters and play defense, and this team is going to look really good. Joel Embiid, by the way, finished with 34 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 10 for 18 from the field, 11 for 13 from the charity stripe. We had 16 free throws in the first quarter. We had 36 total on the night. It was amazing, man. It really was. This is how we're going to play. Teams are going to hate playing us. It is what it is. It's like I said, you have to pick and choose when you play this Sixers team. And everybody thought we were getting a wash version of Harden. Let me tell you something, man. We fleeced that trade by a mile. As I said, man, Daryl Morey should honestly go to jail for fraud. He literally fleeced for a guy that would never play again here, Seth Curry. People were complaining about that, and Andre Drummond. We got James Harden who does everything, man. He was a wizard on the floor tonight. And again, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself here, but with the way the East looks, with how this team is playing already, like, it still needs to click in. And James Harden looked like he fits perfectly with this team. It was absolutely amazing, man. Just contributing in every aspect. But Joel Embiid, and I'm glad that Joel, after starting, 2 for 9 in the game, he was having a tough first half. He was playing terrible. Obviously, he was getting to the line, but he was not playing that well. But James Harden kept us afloat. And when other guys, for example, like Tobias, have had tough nights during this year, it's been a real struggle to win the game, right? And tonight, Joel had a terrible first half, and we were still dominating. We had 65 points at halftime. We had a massive second quarter after starting off slow. And Joel Embiid, came out in the second half like he has and showed his MVP self, and Harden was getting him the ball. Those two, I was just so amazed by the connection, by the chemistry in game one. I thought it was, superb. But I think it's only going to get better. And I thought, the Sixers, obviously, they shot 48% from deep tonight. That's not going to happen every night. But what really amazed me about James Harden even more is that, I said during the live stream, like, he looked like he was on low power mode. He didn't even look like he wanted to attack. He didn't even look like he broke a sweat tonight, if I'm being honest. And he is in more shape than ever. He is motivated. And honestly, he can just turn it on like that whenever he needs to, right? If guys aren't shooting, if they're not playing well, Harden's just going to drive to the basket. He has a nice quick burst as well. It looks a little bit different, for example, because Tyrese Maxey is so quick. James Harden kind of plays at his own pace. But again, it's incredible to see a guy that can actually create his own shot on the perimeter, and then he can drive to the basket as well, blow right by defenders, and draw fouls. I mean, we've never had this before. We have two-star basketball, and I am just absolutely loving how this thing is going to come together. I'm telling you, you have to pick and choose, because if you're an opposing defense, how do you stop James Harden on the perimeter, but then also apply pressure to Joel Embiid? They were doubling. They were tripling. Embiid was still getting his. And then they tried to switch and transition out onto Harden, and Harden just hits these little quick touch passes. The ball movement was very, very swift tonight, even from guys like Tobias, Thibault, Niang. Like, everybody was moving the ball. The bench didn't even play that well tonight. Tobias didn't play well. And James Harden helped mask all those weaknesses, man. Like, when this thing really clicks and comes together, we could honestly have a big three of James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. I just don't know how defenses are going to allocate their resources to those guys. I mean, it's going to be really hard to stop. And I got to give so much credit to Doc Rivers, man. Had an amazing night. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. He said he's always going to leave 2 out of the 4, Tyrese, Tobias, James, or Joel. He's going to leave 2 out of the 4 on the floor at all times. That's what he did. Now, we had one stretch in the late third quarter where we were up by like 20, 25 points. I think it was actually 27, and he brought in an all-bench lineup for 3 minutes. It got bad quick. He took a timeout, brought the starters back in. They played the whole fourth, and we shredded this team. And I hope Doc has learned. And like I kind of mentioned before, hopefully having a guy like James Harden now wakes up these senses and makes it realize, like, ayo, Doc, we have a chance here. You got to do the right thing. And maybe that star power, that leadership, that vocal leadership from guys like James Harden will just help overpower, some of the weaknesses of Doc Rivers. But I thought Doc had an incredible game tonight. The lineups were fantastic. And we just got to keep building on it going forward. But I thought everybody played a role. And at the end of the day, this team just looked absolutely great. And that's really where I'll end it tonight. There's so much more we could talk about. There's so much more we will analyze. And like I said, we'll be covering this team from every angle. But there is no better way you could have drawn up the first game of James Harden, Joel Embiid, the debut. It was just absolutely incredible in every aspect. And I can't wait to see how we build on it going forward. 2 games against the Knicks. Then we got a tough 4-game stretch against Cleveland, Miami, Chicago, Brooklyn. It's going to be interesting to see. We won't be as perfect as we were tonight every single night, but I think we have something special brewing here. I can't wait to see how it plays out. I want to hear from you, though. Give me all your thoughts about this game down below in the comment section. What did you think of the first game to kick off the Harden and Embiid era? It was just absolutely fun to watch. It was one of the most fun games I've watched in a long time, and I can't wait to go back and continue breaking it down. Give me all your thoughts down below. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And like always, I will catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.